Hours as they move across central Alabama. I'll tell you where we can expect those pop-ups over the next 60 minutes and what you can expect going into your Wednesday. And though things are heating up across many parts of the world, some countries are experiencing the complete opposite. We visit the countries currently experiencing winter and what they're doing to stay warm.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first, check out this rare phenomenon spotted in Portugal. It's called a roll cloud, and it forms under certain temperatures, humidity, and wind conditions. And when the land is hot during the day and the cooler air comes in after sunset, the hot air rises and creates that rolling cloud formation that you're seeing there in that video. Absolutely incredible. And sometimes we'll see that sometimes here in the southeast. Well, it's been a very busy afternoon and evening with scattered showers and storms developing. Some were severe. We had a severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Bibb County and then also in Coosa and Tallapoosa counties. And now that severe threat has shifted into Montgomery in the southern half of the state, and we're starting to stabilize, which is good. If you're worried about strong and severe storms, that means that threat's really diminishing over the next several hours. But the next big thing that we're tracking, believe it or not, is the lack of rain. How about that? Over the next 5 days, you can see those rain chances very small, very isolated in nature. And, you know, I will never eliminate the rain chance in summertime. We still have heating of the day and the chance for some humidity. Those rain chances, although remain pretty low, it's not zero. There's always going to be that one pop-up somewhere. So overall, wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans, and I would not be carrying an umbrella with me as those rain chances look pretty isolated. Although, if you got evening plans right now, maybe a good idea to hold on to the umbrella. Just overcast and cloudy here in Jasper. We had some showers nearby, and that's just enough to cool you down. We're at 79 degrees with a light wind, and where we've seen the rain, still in the 70s. But off to the north towards Coleman, Aniana, we haven't had as much in the way of rainfall, so temperatures just a few degrees warmer. But now that we've had all that rain move through, it's really helped stabilize the atmosphere. So I think we're in pretty good shape for the rest of this evening. We'll take a little tour, and all the active weather, as I was mentioning, was impacting Montgomery and points to the south and east. We're just dealing with some lingering showers in parts of Tallapoosa, Coosa, and Chilton and Bibb counties. We've seen just a little bit of light rain in Centerville, maybe a few sprinkles lingering there in Tuscaloosa, and then mainly just seeing some thunder showers in parts of County County. So Anniston, Oxford towards Weaver, Jacksonville dealing with some showers, and this rain moving off towards the east-southeast, and as you can see, very little lightning. So there's really not a lot of instability left in the atmosphere, so that's good. But with those storms that moved through earlier, some people are out with power. 200 customers without electricity there in Pickens, 300 customers without power in Tuscaloosa, and 1,000 still without power from that severe storm that moved through the area. And when they issued that warning, they had a label of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible with that particular storm. So the next 24 hours, you can see those showers making their way to the south and east. We can still see some lingering showers over the next several hours as they track their way towards the south and east. But overall, I think we're looking pretty good. If you're worried about severe weather, I don't see any of that happening. And by tomorrow morning, we'll wake up with the lower 70s. Make sure you watch Megan and Mickey. There could be some fog in a few spots, but I do think we'll see some improvement. And we're looking at mostly dry weather with a north wind coming in. And we're looking at those temperatures tomorrow warming up into the upper 80s. So overall, not too bad at all. But I want to show you right here what it looks like right now. We're going to toss this on over to show you right now Panama City Beach. Doesn't that look really nice? Well, if you've got some beach plans going into the holiday, we got to watch the tropics. One thing that we're watching, you can see a little bit of a swirl, some clouds and rain. It's really starting to dissipate in the eastern Gulf, and that boundary that's been producing the storms here, that's going to stall along the Gulf Coast over the next several days. And usually when it comes to the early parts of the hurricane season, when we see tropical activity, it's usually close to home, and we have a stalled boundary. Sometimes you can get an area of low pressure to develop, and that's what we're going to be watching over the next several days. The National Hurricane Center is showing this area in yellow a 30% chance for possible tropical development. So that's a pretty low chance. Models aren't super aggressive with this, but sometimes we might see something try to make its way through Florida Peninsula and into the Atlantic. Some of the models are showing a weak low forming, but this will not impact our weather. And I'm really not anticipating much issue for the Alabama Gulf Coast, but we'll keep you updated right here on WBRC. Well, we first brought you the story yesterday about Flossie moving through the eastern Pacific, and as of today, it's a Category 2 hurricane. It's currently impacting the coast of Colima, and though direct impact isn't expected, their rain bands have brought heavy rainfall, strong waves, and wind gusts. State authorities have ordered beaches to close and ports to smaller boats. Brigades have also been deployed for prevention and assistance efforts should they be needed. Hundreds have already been evacuated from high-risk areas, and other coastal communities have started to secure belongings. And back here at home, we are with July off to a rainy start. Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with the Weather Extra on this month's climatology and what we can typically expect.
We wrapped up June and now we're in July, and I thought I'd look at some of the weather extremes and the averages for this month as we kick off a new one. Birmingham, the hottest day on record ever for the month of July was 107 degrees on July 29, 1930. And that is actually when the record data began for the National Weather Service, at least when their logs started. Now, Tuscaloosa saw 107 degrees in the month of July 3 times in 1952, the 24th, the 28th, and the 29th. Anniston got up to 105 July 13th of 1980. Now, typically this month, we average between 90 and about 92 degrees for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Anniston. But we all know the drill. It can always feel even hotter than that. Rainfall totals, obviously we haven't seen much at this hour, but we've got more scattered storms in the area, so these totals will change once we get the data in overnight and into tomorrow morning. So make sure to start watching Good Day at 4 a.m. with the latest information. But the average for Birmingham sits right around 5.42 inches as far as rain goes for the month of July. Tuscaloosa a little over 4 inches, and Anniston a little over 4.5 inches. And the rain totals for this year are just so impressive. Birmingham 34, almost and a half inches of rain. Tuscaloosa over 37, almost at 38, and Anniston almost at 36 inches for the year, well above average as far as rain totals go. We'll have much more on Weather Extra.
All right, thank you, Megan. And around the world, we're not the only ones seeing a stormy pattern this week. Many across Pennsylvania today trying to keep dry after torrential rain yesterday. The rain prompting a flash flood emergency just last night. And you can see this car submerged in the water and the damaged roads due to this rain event. Local law enforcement having to conduct water rescues as up to 5 inches of rain was reported across the state. Lancaster recording nearly 4 inches of rain, making yesterday the 10th wettest day on record. And that heat wave across Europe peaking today across parts of England and France. Dozens of locations across France setting temperature records yesterday. As those heat warnings stayed in place through today, temperatures range from the mid-90s going into the triple digits across many spots. A cold front will bring much needed relief for northwestern Europe by the middle part of the week. And while Europe deals with intense summer heat, it's a different story south of the equator where it's winter there. In Argentina, people are layering up to face a cold snap. CNN's Cecilia Dominguez has more.
Today marks the coldest day of the year so far in Argentina, as forecasted by the National Weather Service. With extremely low temperatures, Buenos Aires is now the world's coldest capital city. Do you like winter?
No, I hate the winter. I am very, very cold. Yes, a little bit, but I prefer spring.
What do you do not to feel that cold?
I guess put a lot of clothes and just, be like an onion with it and just be vibing with it, like hanging out with friends in hot places, I guess.
And you go out? Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's cold?
No, it doesn't matter at all. I think it's better than be, suffering the heat and just, that.
This first cold snap of the season is expected to last until next Thursday, experts say, bringing record-breaking lows and unusual weather across the country. Hats, gloves, scarves, nothing seems to offer enough warmth on days like today. Cecilia Dominguez, CNN, Buenos Aires.
We'll send some of that warmth over to your way if we can. Well, in 30 seconds, we can talk about what you can expect for the 4th of July weekend and how severe weather across the country could impact those travel plans. We'll be right back. Well, you know, the weather's just been kind of active around the area for several days. You get these rain and storms, you get tree limbs down, you got a little bit of debris, you want to cut the lawn, but then the lawn's wet, got issues, all this. You got the idea. We've been there, we've struggled with that. Well, if you want to do some yard work over the next 5 days, it's been a while since I've had 5 check marks right there saying it's good to go to do some yard work, because those rain chances looking pretty isolated in nature. Tomorrow 20%, maybe a stray shower possible south of I-20. We've got some slightly drier air moving in, so that's some good news. And mostly dry conditions with some sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Each day is going to be hot, so you might want to knock out that yard work earlier in the morning hours while it's cool. And looking ahead for tomorrow, Barron's got some baseball, Chattanooga, and I think we're looking good for some baseball. So if you're going out, looking good. Low 80s at 7 o'clock, cooling down to the mid 70s with a partly cloudy sky. And of course, a lot of people making big plans for the holidays. So let's talk about that weekend forecast. Well, if you're going out for the 4th of July, it's going to be hot and sunny, mostly sunny conditions, high of 90 to 93 degrees. So very toasty if you're going to be outdoors. And the same idea going into the weekend. Great weather if you're going to be hanging out at the pool, at the lake. Just take it easy though, because it's been a while since we've had several days of just some sunshine and dry conditions. And that's important to note if you're going to be out this weekend. Apply the sunscreen. This is the UV index forecast for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The scale goes from 1 to 11. We're at an 11. That's extreme. So that means if you are outside and you have no sunscreen on, you may begin to burn within 10 minutes. So make sure you reapply constantly. Stay safe from the sun. Well, as with severe storms in the forecast across the country for the weekend, millions of Americans could be delayed as they take to the roads and skies during what could be a record-breaking 4th of July travel. Fox's weather, Katie Byrne, has more.
Heavy rain sweeping across the eastern U.S. this week, flooding roads and threatening to impact travel plans for millions of Americans. By Tuesday afternoon, more than 2,500 flights were delayed across the country, according to FlightAware. Since Saturday, thousands have been canceled, and more disruptions are expected as the severe weather continues moving south.
This is crazy. I've never been through this in my life.
It's just been rough traveling with a 10-year-old, coming back and forward.
AAA expects this July 4th to set records, with 72 million people hitting the rails, roads, and skies. And Sunday could be the busiest travel day, with TSA preparing to screen nearly 3 million people.
A little bit of the training that I got in the military was make sure you get out there early, get everything together that you need to, and then just be ready.
But most of the traffic will be on the roads. About 85% of travelers are driving over the holiday, according to AAA. But with crowds and severe storms in the forecast, experts are urging drivers to be cautious.
We know that the excitement of the holiday, the anticipation of gathering and celebrating with friends and family is on everybody's mind, but we cannot forget about safety.
Forecasters say much of the country will get a break from the rain by Friday, just in time for fireworks. In the Philadelphia suburbs, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
Well, we're looking at your weather headlines, and I think for the rest of this evening, we're just going to be looking at some spotty showers. I think that severe threat's pretty much over with. We've had some rain-cooled air stabilize the atmosphere, so we're good to go for that. And we're staying pretty dry, I think, even as we go into the 4th and even going into the weekend. We're just going to have to deal with some sunshine. I know you're like, oh, sunshine. That's horrible. Yeah, we finally get to enjoy some sunshine, finally. Right now, just overcast with those lingering showers moving out. We're at 78 degrees there in Birmingham. And we're also dealing with some clouds in parts of Tuscaloosa, just dealing with those rain-cooled atmosphere. We're at 76 degrees, so it's a really good time if you want to go out for a little bit of a walk, feeling nice. You can see we've cooled down into 70s. Where you haven't seen rain, like in Cherokee County, you're still in the mid-80s, so odds of seeing rain, yeah, still possible. Can't rule it out. We're still seeing some showers up in North Alabama, but most of the stormy weather that we've been dealing with out of here, just some lingering showers in Coosa and Chilton County, and also dealing with some isolated showers moving Calhoun, making their way to Cleburne. So Anniston, Oxford, I want to give you that first alert. Next 30 minutes, you're going to be dealing with some rain, but not a lot of lightning or thunder with that. There's the cold front. This is what's producing all the rain. That's why we enhanced those rain chances today. But that's moving through, and that's going to help bring in some northerly flow and knock all this rain out of here. So we still can't rule out some showers over the next several hours, but the severe threat, like I said, not expecting that at all. And then by midnight or so, most of the rain's out of here, and we'll see a gradual clearing, and that will give way to a partly cloudy sky going into your Wednesday. So for tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up into the lower 70s. There could be some fog in spots. That's what these icons are indicating, so be mindful of that. Tune in. Megan and Mickey will have updates on Good Day Alabama. And then we got another day of the World Police and Fire Games. Looking good. Partly cloudy, upper 80s with the mostly sunny, partly cloudy sky. Maybe a small rain chance possible in the afternoon. Look for green dots on this, and you can see with the future radar, not seeing much around lunchtime tomorrow. Maybe a few specks of green there. So that's that small rain chance. Otherwise, we're going to stay dry with those temperatures warming up into the upper 80s. Let's show you that 7-day forecast, and it's been a while since I've had this forecast where don't have a lot of rain to talk about. So you know, I'm fine with that. About time we had a holiday where you don't have to worry about nasty weather. So we're looking pretty good for the 4th of July. Just going to be very hot, high temperatures in the low to mid 90s. And I think we're going to stay in the 90s as we go into the weekend. Those temperatures staying in the low to mid 90s and overnight lows in the 70s. And for now, just an isolated storm chance possible each and every day. Very typical for summertime here in the southeast. Well, no, we're headed through a dry period. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, well, he had the chance to talk with a researcher of Vortex and how their studies are helping people across the southeast stay prepared and ready in the event of severe weather.
Joined now by Dr. Justin Sharp with the University of Southern Mississippi. And Dr. Sharp and I had a chance to meet at the Mississippi Southeast Severe Storm Symposium. We were both speakers there, and I learned that Dr. Sharp performs a lot of research with Project Vortex. And if you haven't heard of Vortex, it's a verification of the origins of rotation in tornadoes experiment. There have been several of these studies across the southeast, across a part of the country. I don't want to give it all away, but I sort of want to lay a foundation. But it's so great to catch up, Dr. Sharp. And just tell us a little bit about the research that you have conducted with Vortex. A lot of interesting stuff here for our viewers.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to position it that what I did before and then what I do now, and so that your viewers can understand all those things and how they connect together. So you've mentioned the project, which is absolutely fantastic. It's been going since about 2015. And the idea was to bring both physical scientists, so meteorologists, those who understand the physics of the atmosphere, together with social sciences, so that we can actually understand a little bit more about how socioeconomic factors, inadequate shelter, housing type, and larger population density all meet with the hazards itself, the tornadoes itself, and what happens. And as you're aware, in the southeast, of course, we've got some hilly sort of landscapes, which makes it hard to see things. We have a lot more nocturnal tornadoes, which make it hard to see at night. And it's about understanding all of those things, bringing them together, and then actually seeing where that intersects, and to see if we can therefore improve the messaging that comes out of that. So that's what's been basically going along. I was initially employed by the University of Oklahoma and working closely with the NOAA's National Severe Storms Laboratory. And then during that time, one of the things that I brought to my bosses was, hey, we're doing really good research and we're really good with that science, but are we good at bringing that back to the public and allowing the public to understand what we're doing, so that they can see that what we're telling them actually is based in science? And so this is the project that I work for now, which is working for the Mississippi-Alabama Sea Grant Consortium. So hopefully that kind of ties up a few loose ends there.
All right, we're talking about beyond the 7-day, and we're looking at, well, close to average temperatures across the southeast. With this outlook, this is from July 9th through July 15th, looking at above average temperatures likely across the Pacific Northwest. And here across the southeast, especially along the Gulf Coast, looking at temperatures perhaps a few degrees above average. For us, it's showing maybe near average. So what is average? Well, as Megan was mentioning earlier, right here on Weather Extra, about the low 90s. So yeah, it's going to be hot, but we've definitely seen and felt a lot worse. What about rainfall? Well, July, believe it or not, could be actually one of our wettest months of the year, and it looks like we may see above average rainfall across the southeast. The darker shaded of green showing up for most of Alabama, which is about a 40% chance of above average rain. The way you look at it, if we're going to be dry for a little bit, if we get a little extra rain, that'll help cool things down. And that's one less thing you have to worry about when it comes to watering your lawn and your garden. So we'll keep a close eye on that over the next several days. There's more Weather Extra right after this break. All right, I've got some viewer photos, and isn't this a beauty right here? Kevin Jarrett from a day at Panama City Beach, and of course Travis Braden right here with the lightning on Lay Lake. Wow, impressive view there. And we got Ashley Ground showing that sunset in Jasper. We had a beautiful sunset yesterday evening. Hopefully you were able to see that. Nathan Harper sent this photo of lightning in White Plains. impressive. It is hard to take a picture of lightning, so I always give kudos to those who can do that. Ken House showing a sunrise in Gulf Shores. And finally, we got Bob Phillips showing lightning in Calera. Wow, that's impressive right there. And scary. If I saw that, I'd be going inside immediately. And I said final, but you know what? We want an extra picture here. This is Hannah. This is a faint rainbow. It's hard to tell in the storm clouds in Destin. You know, it's always easier to see the rainbow with your eye than it is through a camera lens. But thanks for sharing those photos. And of course, if you got those photos, submit them through the WBRC First Alert weather app. Well, I really think the severe threat for this evening's come to an end. We're just going to see some lingering showers after today. We're looking at some drier weather, so you may actually have to water your lawn and garden each and every day. Those rain chances remaining pretty isolated starting tomorrow, just at 20%. And with more sunshine, less rain, that means those temperatures warming into the 90s. So summer is here as we go into the heart of July. Well, that's it for Weather Extra. Tune in tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll have more weather updates.